Hi and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Yuffie from the Final Fantasy VII series. When I first played Final Fantasy VII, I had heard all about how Yuffie was an optional recruitable character and party member. Of course, I made sure to look at guides so that I wouldn't miss my chance to have her in my party. I've always had a soft spot for party members who boast high agility and speed and use light weapons like daggers or shurikens, so I became really drawn to Yuffie. I have bittersweet memories of Yuffie becoming my main healer of the group once Aerith left the party, so I respected her and relied on her a lot. Now that the 7 Remake series is being released and Yuffie is playing a bigger role, I have been so pleased with how she's being handled as a character. I love that she is no longer an optional character because it's great to see her role and dialogue be expanded upon more. I love her spunky attitude and the way that she bounces off of everyone else in the group, especially Barrett. I also can't wait to see her home of Wutai really come to life in Remake Part 3, since it was one of my favorite areas in the original game. Her cheeriness is really contagious, and it will be so fun to see her keep shining in the final installment. When thinking of a dish for Yuffie, I knew I wanted to make an Asian-inspired dish due to her roots from Wutai. There are so many options for Yuffie because I know she would honestly probably love most foods you put in front of her. I originally thought of something inspired by Dachau beans since they were introduced and referenced a lot in the 7 Remake DLC, but ultimately I felt it was important to pay homage to her love for Materia more. There's lots of fun spherical dessert inspirations, but I decided on Hanami Dango. So we are making Hanami or Materia Dango. Here are the ingredients you'll need to steal to make your own. Glutinous rice flour, silken soft tofu, granulated sugar, banana flavoring, taro or ube flavoring, matcha powder, bamboo skewer sticks, and yellow, purple, and green food dye, or any Materia colors you would like. To be clear, I could only find standard soft tofu, not silken soft tofu when I was shopping. You can still make this with standard soft tofu like me, but it will be slightly more silky with silken soft tofu. We'll start out by making the Hanami Dango dough. Weigh out about 100 grams of your soft tofu, then grab a large bowl. To that large bowl, add 3/4 cup of glutinous rice flour, the 100 grams of soft tofu, and a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Mix these ingredients with your hands until it starts to form a dough. This might take a few minutes, so don't be worried if you feel like it takes a while. When you have your large section of dough, weigh it out on a kitchen scale and divide it into 3 equal bowls. Grab one of the 3 portions and add about a 1/4 teaspoon of banana flavoring and add yellow food dye to your desired color. Keep mixing with your hands until the color is pretty uniform and well distributed. Of course, we have to make yellow materia, since that is the color of steel. Next, grab your second section and repeat the process with a 1/4 teaspoon of taro or ube flavoring and purple food dye. Again, mixing until the dough is uniform and the color of your liking. I feel like a purple independent materia is super helpful when playing as Yuffie, especially to increase her lower HP stats. Lastly, grab your third section of dough and repeat now with a 1/4 teaspoon of matcha powder and add green food dye to your liking. Mix and mix until well distributed. Whether equipping Cure, Wind, or Bio, Magic Materia is a staple for everyone's materia lineup. Once the colors and flavors are set in your dough, go ahead and divide each of these doughs into 5 to 6 small balls. Use a scale again to make sure that the balls are as uniform and equal as possible. We can then prepare to cook everything. Head to the stovetop and heat a large pot of water on high to bring it to a boil. Once the water is boiling, we'll simply and carefully toss the Dango dough balls into the water. You don't need to stir frequently, but make sure to move the dough balls around slightly to make sure that they are not stuck to the bottom of the pot. From here, we'll just wait and watch for the Dango dough balls to start to float to the top. The time it takes may vary depending on how large your balls of dough are. Also, while you wait, you'll want to prepare a large bowl of ice water for once the Dango are done cooking. And when they are done cooking, you'll use a ladle or strainer to place the Dango into the bowl of ice water. If you want your Dango to be as uniformly cooked as possible, make sure to take it out of the pot once it is remaining afloat and not bobbing up and down. It really is that easy of a process. Once the dango is done cooking, it's time to assemble. In whatever order you'd like, place each of the 3 dango on your bamboo skewers. The dango does not need long to cool down in the ice. In fact, if anything, your hands might be cold in the process. You'll repeat with all of your bamboo skewers, and then it's time to dig into your materia. This materia dango is so colorful and flavor-packed, it truly encapsulates Yuffie. The dango is so chewy and springy, which makes for such an interesting bite. Each color or flavor is so intriguing and different, but they all mix pretty well together. They are also pretty light and not too filling, so it doesn't feel like you're throwing off your usual meals by indulging in one. There's also loads of customization available here. A traditional Hanami dango has a matcha, unflavored, and strawberry dango. There's so many different flavorings and colors you can try by using different flavor extracts or different powders. I can just picture Yuffie sneaking past a food stall making these materia dango, and her swiping some and holding all of the skewers between each of her fingertips, just like a throwing star. Such beautiful and delicious materia for her to have would give her such joy. As soon as Cloud realized she stole it, he would just curtly order, "Put them back," and she would drop her shoulders in defeat. Tifa would tell her to keep her chin up because she could make some for her later that night, and that would bring Yuffie's mood right back up and cause her to skip and jump around. They may not be as shiny and valuable as real materia, but they're a close second. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Yuffie reminds you of. Thanks for following along.